In the middle of a war-torn landscape, long before the laws of Moses or the priesthood of Israel existed, a figure stepped out from the shadows of history. He carried no weapons, commanded no army, and left no record of his birth. His name was Melchizedek, and his brief appearance in the book of Genesis remains one of the greatest mysteries in the entire biblical canon. The scene is set in the valley of Shava. Abraham, the patriarch, is returning from a high-stakes military rescue. He is exhausted, victorious, and surrounded by the spoils of war. Suddenly, he is met by the king of Salem. But Melchizedek isn't just a king. He is the priest of God Most High. The encounter is strange and deeply symbolic. Melchizedek brings out bread and wine elements that would, thousands of years later, become the ultimate symbols of sacrifice and communion. Without introduction, he blesses Abraham, and in a shocking reversal of status, Abraham, the man who held the promises of God, bows and gives this stranger a tenth of everything he owns. Who was this man that even the father of nations felt the need to tithe to? The mystery deepens when you look at the records. In an ancient culture obsessed with genealogies, Melchizedek is a ghost. The book of Hebrews describes him as being without father or mother, without genealogy, without beginning of days or end of life. He simply is. He appears, performs a high priestly act, and vanishes. This has led to three major theories that have been debated for millennia. The first theory, the historical Canaanite king. Some scholars argue he was a literal human king of a city called Salem, later known as Jerusalem. In this view, he was a rare, monotheistic survivor among pagan nations, a man who had preserved the knowledge of the true God through oral tradition. The second theory, Shem, the son of Noah. Ancient Jewish tradition often identifies Melchizedek as Shem. Being born before the Great Flood, Shem would have lived long enough to meet Abraham. This would explain the deep respect Abraham showed him. He was honoring the oldest living link to the world before the flood. The third theory, the Christophany. This is the most radical and debated perspective, that Melchizedek was a Christophany, a pre-incarnate appearance of Jesus Christ. Supporters of this view point to the description of him having no beginning of days. They argue he didn't just foreshadow the Messiah. He was the eternal Son of God, appearing in human form, to set the stage for the future. The book of Hebrews leans heavily into this connection, stating that Jesus is not a priest like the Levites, who inherited their jobs by bloodline. Instead, Jesus is a priest after the order of Melchizedek. This means his authority doesn't come from a human family tree, but from an eternal, indestructible life. Melchizedek represents a higher priesthood. He proves that God's plan was never limited to one tribe or one nation. He stands as a bridge between the ancient world and the eternal future, a king of righteousness and a king of peace. Whether he was a mysterious man or a divine manifestation, Melchizedek remains a haunting figure in the biblical narrative. He is the man without a beginning who pointed toward a king without an end. He serves as a reminder that even in the earliest pages of history, there were glimpses of a grace that goes beyond genealogy and a kingdom that predates time itself.